What is a good work-life balance? Welcome back to the channel today, guys. And again, we make these videos here at Life on Your Terms so you could do exactly that. You could live a life on your terms. So what is a good work-life balance? Today I'm going to get into two things, specifically what is a good work-life balance and what to do if you don't have the balance that you want. So first, I personally believe it's totally up to you to define what is a good work-life balance. Maybe you feel like you don't have that, and that's where I'd encourage you to go to the description below, take our balance wheel assessment, and it's gonna look at your whole life. It's gonna look at professional, health, resources, and relationships. This way you can define what do you wanna change, what do you wanna get better at, what do you wanna do more of, what do you wanna do less of, and it can kinda allow you to start looking at a good work-life balance. So, more on that. It's up to you to define, and I would just encourage you to ask yourself, what do you value and what do you want to put first? What's most important to you? Is work most important? Financial freedom? Maybe family is most important to you. And that's for you to choose. Once you choose that, you could start to get on the path of deciding what is a good work-life balance. I would encourage you to not think of what makes me most happy, but what am I doing to make the most out of my life? That's one of my favorite questions I've been asking myself recently is instead of being worried about happiness, what am I doing that makes me feel like I'm taking the most advantage of my life? And for me, it's working and getting financially free, but also spending time with family and creating meaningful relationships. And that's me. Maybe yours is more family oriented, and that's great. Or maybe yours is more professional and business related, and that's amazing too. It's completely up to you to define. And I think a good framework is a good life balance gives me flexibility and control to my commitments and activities that I want to do, whatever those may be to you. So if you want to make it to every one of your kids' soccer games, then you want to make sure that your work allows you to do that. And if it does, then I would say you have a good work-life balance. But if you can't make it to one of your kids' soccer games and that's super important to you, then I would say you don't have a good work-life balance. Again, for you to define, but that's just how I see it. And so with that, to get a better work-life balance, I think if you align your work with purpose and alignment. Do you feel like your work is meaningful in a sense of this is what you feel like you were put on earth to do? You feel like this is your purpose to help people or whatever it may be, maybe it's a lawyer, whatever you like to do, whatever you feel like your purpose is, that'll create alignment with your work-life balance and it'll feel much more meaningful, and I think it'll feel a lot easier to weave back and forth between work and life when you feel like you're doing something that's purposeful and you're in alignment with. I mean, I could tell you to go to Goldman Sachs and get an $800,000 job a year, and for some people that may feel like their purpose, and for some people it's just for the money, but they don't feel like it's in alignment with what they want to do, and I think it would make it a lot harder to have a good work-life balance if it's not what you feel like you were put on this earth to do. So that's what I see work-life balance as. I think it's up for you to define. Again, check out that balance wheel. I think it'd be really helpful to look at all four quadrants of your life and kind of get you thinking, what do I want my work-life balance to look like? And a good question you can ask yourself is, what does amazing look like 12 months from now? And then that can get the wheels turning on what do you want it to look like. You can start visualizing what a good work-life balance looks like. So with that, that brings me to my second point of what to do if you don't have a good balance in your opinion. And what I would encourage you to do first is take self-care and put it top priority. Now what I mean by self-care, I mean exercise, sleep, and breaks. So exercise and sleep are two things that I think get overlooked a lot. But when those two things are in check, I think it's a lot easier to make, number one, more rational decisions, but also feel a lot better about where you're at. So I would encourage you to get those two things in check and then move on to the next things. But breaks, I think, are important too. I think it's important to have time set aside for rest, because when you rest, you will be more productive. So find time to rest, do whatever you need to do to rest, and then come back, be ready to look at your work-life balance and what you want to do. So then my second thing is, after you take care of the self-care, is to set boundaries. Clear work hours and time blocks. So if work ends at 6 p.m. for you, it ends at 6 p.m. and you don't go back to it. Make sure to be committed during the day to get everything you need to get done, but set a time where work is over. And then also in the morning, don't get up right away while you're laying in bed and look at work emails. I would set a time also when work starts. So maybe you go to the office at 9 and you don't look at work until you get to the office. It's important to have those boundaries, and I think that can help with work-life balance as well. Another skill, and this truly is a skill, is learn to say no. Maybe it's a new opportunity. Maybe it's a promotion at work, but if it doesn't allow you, again, to go to your kids' soccer games, if that's important to you, avoid overcommitting, because it's important to learn to say no, because we can get spread very thin if we start to say yes to every opportunity that comes our way. I know in the past that I was spread so thin with all these different things I was trying to work on, and I felt like I just had no time to do anything else, to see my family or anything like that. So I had to learn to say no, and I only say yes to opportunities that further my chances or my skill of being a coach, if you will, or helping people. That's kind of my main mission, and what I streamline through is I just want to help people. So anything that doesn't align with coaching or helping people like that, I do not commit to it. So with that, another thing you could focus on working on is focus on quality of work instead of quantity. In the past, I've been sitting at this desk right here for hours, and I was thinking that I was being productive, but realistically, I wasn't working on much. I would touch on my fitness stuff, then I would go to school, then I would go on work, and I would just be doing all this stuff instead of just setting aside an hour for each thing, and things that could have taken me 6 hours a day only take me 3 because I'm focused. So focus on quality of work over quantity. Just because you have the computer open doesn't mean you're working. You need to focus on that quality and focused work. And again, that ties back to the breaks. If you feel like your output per minute has gone down a bunch, take a break, come back so then you can get that quality of work nailed in again. And again, this brings me to my final point of what to do if you don't have good balance, and that is regularly assess and adjust. I'm a huge proponent of setting quarterly objectives, and there's different seasons, if you will, and you may be in a season of work, and that means that it's more work focused. Or maybe you're in a season of more life. Maybe you just had a kid, and that's a beautiful thing. And with that, you need to focus on that because that deserves your attention. So with that, you need to realize there's different seasons, regularly assess and adjust based on what's right for you. Again, today we're talking about what is a good work-life balance. Hopefully that was helpful.